Okay, so welcome, good afternoon, and welcome back to our Saturday 1 p.m. practice. I mean, it doesn't have to be 1 p.m. if you are somewhere else in the world. Actually, I will be in a different time zone next week, so hopefully I will have all the times correct. So it's 1 p.m. Eastern time. Yeah, welcome back. Today I call this class flow and stretch. It's like open enough that we can really fill it with whatever we need today, but also hopefully specific enough that we know we're gonna move through our fairly common, or fairly, we use the vinyasa flow in our class a lot. I don't wanna say it's a common flow, but it's common to us that we if you practice together. And we're also going to spend a lot of time at the end, especially just focusing on just some stretching without a specific flow involved. Just some real, not necessarily dynamic stretching, but really just hold and release type stretching, that more static style of stretching. And there's, pros to both dynamic and static stretching. Dynamic stretching being like if you were in a ballet class, you see everyone doing the plies and bending their knees. You're stretching all those muscles as in your legs as you do so, but you're not holding it for a sustained period of time. It's actually like strengthening as well as stretching experience. So without further ado, if you would like to press play on your device, feel free to do so if you want to follow along with our playlist. I also recommend, if you have a band, it could be a stretchy one, it could be just this is not stretchy, or just something, doesn't have to be an official yoga band, just something that you can kind of hold within your wingspan. If you want to go unearth that, and if you don't have it and you don't feel like getting it, that's fine. I'll just demonstrate a couple exercises today that might help warm us up a little bit. So let's start with a little bit of breathing. So we're going to come onto our mat. Find yourself in a comfortable seated position. If you're on your knees, you might want to slide a block or pillow underneath your seat. Just inhale to get tall, and then exhale just to settle the shoulders down. Excellent. And gently close your eyes or look at the ground. I'm actually not going to close my eyes yet. I don't feel ready yet to close my eyes. Just lower your gaze if you're like me, and do that one more time. Inhale, the shoulders rise. Exhale, them settle into the shoulder sockets. Beautiful. As we continue to tap into that flowing breath, that inhale, uplifting, exhale, releasing downward energy, we're going to bring our fingertips to our shoulders. So on your next inhale, we're going to lift our elbows up, and then like we're making a circle with them. Exhale, them down. Inhale, they come front and up. Exhale, down and back. And keep your neck and shoulders relaxed. Two more. Inhale, up and front. Down and back. Letting that shoulders be heavy. One more. Excellent. And just release your hands. Give your shoulders a little shimmy. Good. Excellent. And here you can open your eyes if you want to peek at me, and then close them again if you'd like. I'm just going to inhale to get tall. Lifting from that kind of diaphragm area. And then exhale, just send your right ear to your right shoulder. You're going to take your right hand and just massage the shoulder, the neck, the trapezius muscles, the muscles along the side. You can bring your fingertips, like a frog's fingers. They have like those very bulbous fingers. You can almost think of like frog fingers on your shoulder blade to really get behind there. And put it's almost like a little acupressure. Your fingers being a little source of loving pressure, generating release of tension. And in doing this, we're also encouraging blood flow to this area and telling the muscle fibers, hey, break up a little bit, relax, break up a little. Good. And then just, using your hand in a way that feels loving and firm. Good, and when you're good and ready on that side, you can release your hand. Just take a resetting inhale before we drop our left ear to our left shoulder, left hand, same thing along the right side of our neck, getting maybe the upper arm, using those grippy fingers to apply gentle pressure towards the shoulder blade. Oh, yeah. Kind of similar to the work we've done with those lacrosse balls, except a tinier platform now, our fingertips. Fingertips and our finger, like the the soft, squishy front parts of our fingers. I don't know the term for that. Good, and let it come up your neck, maybe in this area that is right below your ears, upper neck. Excellent. And we're going to release our hands, little shimmy it out. If you're on your knees, please come to a cross-legged position. We're going to do our seated cat-cow variation that we did either last week or the week before. And that is an inhale as you press your rib cage out, heart up, chin lifts. So my spine is opening up. And then exhale, fall forward carefully, rounding your spine as you inhale to come up. Send your chest up, fall gently forward, exhale, rounding the spine, and finding your own rhythm. Inhale to cow, exhale to cat. You can use your hands to really emphasize the spine curvature. Begin to deepen that breath. Really let that breath press through your lips, through your nose, wherever you're breathing. Really engaging the breath, activating, heating up. 2 more on your own. And when you are ready, coming back up to a seated position, shimmy out the shoulders a little bit, and just close your eyes and find a moment of stillness before we move into action. Excellent. Blink your eyes open. It's funny, the music, right as I said stillness, it turned into sort of like a clubby like beat. And it was interesting, it kind of made me really resonate with my heartbeat. So I was like still with my body, but the heart was like this pulsing rhythm and also playing in my ears. What do you know? Yoga. All right, excellent. So we are gonna come onto our hands and knees and get going with our flow here. So hands and knees, we're ready to move through our cat and cow, but just take any additional movements you'd like here. I am looking over my left shoulder, tilting my hips to the left, and then switching, looking over my right shoulder, tilting my hips to the right, just to get a little stretch on the side. If you'd like to tuck your toes, send your hips back, that's another favorite of mine, to really stretch those toes. You want to move through any child's poses, just take a minute here. I'm just offering some variations. Good, and really just feel this is just, like they call it yogi playtime, which sounds kind of dumb, but like, it kind of is, like you're really just starting to feel like, hey, what do I kind of need to warm up? What does my body kind of want? What do I need to stretch out? And you're discovering that in your own self. I'm not in your skin, I'm not in your bones, in your body. So you're just starting to kind of get familiar with what you need, what feels good. Excellent. So inhale, we're going to place our hands a little bit ahead of our shoulders, tuck our toes. Exhale to send those hips high in the sky. Woo, knees do not have to be straight, heels do not have to be flat against the ground. And begin to walk your knees one at a time, nice and slowly. You can really get that nice stretch down the back of your leg. Wonderful. Take a glance forward. Make sure that all 10 knuckles are firmly on the ground, especially those index finger knuckles. Good. We're going to bend our knees, lift our hips. On an exhale, straighten up a little bit. Knees can still be bent. One more time. Inhale to bend, hips flat, lift. Exhale to rise, keeping those hips nice and tall. Wonderful. We're going to look forward and just take big bear steps. This might be coming very familiar to some of you. This motion, which is good. We're building this into our muscle memory. And we can either just hang with our fingertips, drag being on the floor, if you want to bend your knees, or you can reach for opposite elbows. Nothing to do here that's pushing or pulling. You're just warming up. So if you are finding it, especially in the beginning of practice, you're already judging what your posture looks like, how far you're reaching, I encourage you to let that go. The way you sweat when you're working hard, let that go with all the sweat. Because you're just warming up, you're just simply activating, and you're saying, okay, it's time to start doing stuff, but it doesn't have to look a certain way when you're warming up. No one's judging you except you. So it's you and your own reflection here. So just let yourself go. Let yourself relax, and then the release will come. All right, letting your head be heavy and letting your head be the last thing to rise. Bend your knees and roll up one vertebrae at a time, really taking it slow. Ugh. And last thing to come up, shoulders back, chin lifts. Good, and just take a moment in your mountain pose, palms facing forward. I ate some almonds before this. Almonds always kind of catch my throat, so I do a lot of clearing of my throat. That is clearing of the almonds. Shoulders back, eyes closed, gripping through the pinky toe edge of your feet, as well as the big toe side, so you're balanced. Deep breath in, release. Deep breath in, let it go. Good, eyes come open, wiggle your fingers, and here we go. Feet parallel underneath your hips, bend your knees, reaching those arms out and up, energizing the space around your body as well as your body. Hands come together, leading with your heart, take a bow forward. Excellent, forward fold. Hands to shins or thighs, halfway lift. Deep inhale. Exhale to guide the forward fold. Inhale to plant your hands, stepping right foot back, left foot back, lowering the hips a little. Inhale to high plank. Drop your knees into low plank. Excellent. Take a breath here. Release. Check your palms, make sure your knuckles are grounded. Inhale to gaze forward, shift forward, lower your body down, right in between those elbows. Untuck those toes, sending those palms back a little, just for more grounding. Lifting into baby cobra. Shoulders not as earrings. Exhale, release. Inhale to move through tabletop. Exhale, send the hips all the way back. Child's pose with your knees parallel. Often we open our knees. This one, our knees are parallel. If your head is just kind of hanging in space, you can always put a pillow or a block underneath. If your head is on the ground, just gently place your forehead. And you're gonna look right and left. You're just gonna bring a little bit of third eye massage to your forehead. Good. Then we're gonna inhale to get long through the spine. Then exhale to walk the hands over to the right. Just on a diagonal, you're not trying to, just get a nice little stretch in that left side body. You can even lean the hips a little bit towards the left to emphasize the stretch a little if you like. Inhale to move those hands past center. Then exhale, settle the hands on the left side of your body. Maybe your hips want to sink a little to the right. Just a hair. Just play around here. Let your head be heavy. Splendid. Inhale to bring those hands back to the front. Exhale to come to hands and knees. Inhale, walk the hands a little forward, tuck the toes. Exhale, lifting, downward facing dog. Good, and gaze between your toes. We're gonna take a deep inhale through our nose and blow out the birthday candles. So we're gonna do that 2 more times. Try to elongate that big exhale. Deep breath in. Last one, deep breath in. Blow it all out. Excellent. Gaze forward, you can hop or step forward. Gotta prepare myself for the first yoga in a couple days. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Knees can be bent, you can be gentle with yourself. Inhale, bend your knees, reach those arms out. Again, energizing the space around you. Reach your arms up into a victorious, uplifted position. Palms come together. Send it past your heart. Another version of mountain pose. Put your hand in front of your heart, let your eyes close. Take a beat, take a minute. Not a full minute. We'll take a yoga minute, which is like 10 seconds. Let your shoulders relax and feel grounded from your gripping your feet onto the floor. Let that sensation of grounding Rise up to meet your palms and your heart. You can almost hold the grounding in your heart, in your hands. Lovely. Coming back to the top of your mat, if you aren't there already, open your eyes, release your hands, reach those arms out and up. Toss them together, maybe slight back bend. Exhale, sending that heart towards your thighs, releasing your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. And if your breathing is a different, exhale, forward fold. If you're breathing in a different rhythm, take it in your own rhythm. Inhale to plant those hands, step right foot back, left foot back. Lower the hips just a little, feel the belly button pulling, belly bowling. Pull the belly button towards, I don't even know what I was trying to say, belly button towards spine. Do you feel that like, almost like a little sandwich sensation? Hips going down, but elbow pull, hips down, navel up. Let's try that. Knees can drop. Try to press those heels if you're up in a high plank, heels towards the back wall. Inhale to shift forward. Inhale. Exhale. Send it all down. Untuck those toes. Inhale. Baby cobra or maybe a little higher. Elbows pulling towards each other. Exhale. Release. Inhale to push up either into a tabletop or maybe you can use that core to press up into downward facing dog. And here we are again. Well done. Inhale deeply. Exhale, side out. Big vocal sigh. Like, oh God, what have I done? I hit play. Inhale deeply. One more, just let it all out. Let the judgment out, let the bad things outside. Stress, just the bracing. And now we're gonna blow up the birthday candles. From stress side to birthday party. Inhale deeply. Blow it out. Wonderful. You're gonna inhale to ground through the left foot as you let the right foot come up, toes pointing down. Does not have to be the highest thing you've ever done. Hips are still square. Exhale, you're gonna bend that knee towards your nose, hover for just a moment. So you're basically in a one-legged, like high plank, so well done. Gripping through the floor, we're gonna send that right foot down in between your hands. So take a deep breath, lifting up, bend down. Oh gosh, well I am sweating. Wonderful, high plank. We're going to ground our left hand on the ground. If you have blocks accessible to you, I know not everyone has blocks in their corner, like me. You can plant that left hand on the block, open your heart to the right. Blocks are really nice in this because it essentially adds length, so you can stretch higher and further. Blocks are not just a crutch or like a sign of weakness. They can enhance our practice in a lot of ways. Excellent, you're gonna send the right hand back down. And now we're going to turn out the left foot, so our back foot. We're going to plant the heel down and then turn the toes to the left side. We're going to rely on our strength or a little bit on our arms to send our torso up and our arms out. I'm going to just turn around just to face you, but your feet are great. Right leg in front, left leg back. Warrior two. Hands can come down for this little explanation. We're gonna do our alignment check. Front leg bisects the back leg. So if one foot's like really out here, bring it back to the middle. Knees should not be going over ankle. And then inhale to get that torso tall, rather than this kind of diagonal. Inhale, open those arms, energize out through the fingertips. Gazing over front fingertips, shoulders down and back. Powerful, strong embodiment. Inhale, reverse warrior, so you're gonna send your back arm down, you can support your lower back. Right arm reaches up towards your ear and beyond, stretching the side, not the back, the side. Inhale to come back. Exhale, forearm to thigh, left arm comes up and around past your ear. Good, if you'd like to slide the right fingers down and lift the left ones a little more vertically, that's an option. Block is another good time to block. Wherever you are, take a moment. Can we send our shoulders down and back, and can we send our heart a little more open? Just to open us up a little bit. Exhale, coming back to warrior. On our inhale, we're going to squeeze our legs towards each other, activate the muscles. As if you had like ice skates on and you're trying not to just fall into the splits. You have to like use your muscles to keep your ice skates kind of closed. That's it. And then come on up. Hands to your hips, turning your front foot to the outside, so both feet are pointing to, towards the long edge of your mat. And here, I'm gonna reach for my trusty band. And we're gonna walk our feet so they're hips distance apart, maybe a little wider, just some place where you can be stable, knees can be soft. So if you don't have a band here, you can simply do it without the band. You're gonna reach your arms out and back. Like butterflies, reverse butterflies. If you have a band, you're gonna hold it pretty wide, about as, you're gonna find what's comfortable and what's not, but pretty wide to start. We're gonna inhale to lift it up, and then exhale to send it back. And then same thing in reverse, inhale up, exhale back. And if that's really comfortable and you're like, this is no challenge, you can walk your hands slowly more and more in, so your hands can come closer and closer to each other. Good, and again, if you don't have one of these, simply just do the arm circles. It's gonna warm up the joints a lot, the ball and socket, and kind of like lubricate them in a nice way. So if you do have one of these and you're going with my rhythm, take 2 more. And last one. Whew. Good. Excellent. You don't want to like push it too much. You don't want to cause injury. So always do it where it's, that you feel you can kind of glide past that point with some ease, but eventually you'll increase the flexibility of that area and your hands make it a little closer and a little closer together. Excellent. So we're going to come as tall as the top of our mat. Let's open our legs nice and wide, about as wide as our palms, our wingspan. And we're going to close our hands behind our back, clasp your fingers, toes pointing front, feeling through the outer edges of your legs and pinky toe. We're going to inhale that heart open, and then exhale, send that heart down, sending your palms up into space. Palms can be touching, they can be open. If you're having a hard time reaching your palms, hey, this thing is really handy. Let's see, I have a tail. Good, wherever you are. And trying your best to let your neck go. Ugh. Let that skull be heavy. Let gravity work with you. A slight micro bend in those knees. Then we're going to inhale here. Exhale, can you release more deeply into the stretch, even in your mental conception of the stretch, just in your mind's eye. One more time. And we're going to carefully release our hands or release the band, sending our hands down to wherever we can reach. Shins, ankles, floor. If you're at the floor, begin to walk your hands underneath your seat. So you're kind of walking your hands underneath you, just to enhance the stretch, and using the grip on the floor to pull your body towards the space between your legs. Let your head be heavy and nice and loose. And then we're going to release the hands. Let's bend your knees, really stabilize through the feet. You can use your thighs as support and carefully come back to standing. Good, and then just very carefully shake your feet out. Don't shake them out and then like lose your balance and fall forward. If you did, you know, it happens. Good, and we're going to come back to the top of our mat. Reset. Good, so shake anything out. Shoulders down and back. Strong Tadasana to begin, a mountain pose. And we're going to bend our knees. Flow it up. Reach those arms up. Moving through space. Palms come together. Exhale, leading with that heart. Bring some fluidity into our hip joints. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, plant your hands, step one foot back, and then the other. Drop the hips slightly, belly button lifts. We're going to do a little core work. Feel free to drop to your knees at any point. We're going to inhale, right knee to right elbow. Step it back, exhale. Inhale, left knee to left elbow. Step it back, exhale. Keep going. We're gonna do 10 from here. 10 on each side. 9. 8. 7. Oh gosh, 10 was a lot. 6. Take a break whenever you need. 5. 4. Now you're at 3. You can do anything for three rounds. Oh gosh. 2. And then last one. Drop your knees carefully. Chaturanga. Woo, yes. This time, take a little breather before we move up. We can, yogi's choice, baby cobra. Not baby cobra, just cobra. Upward dog. Good, and just stretch it out, we're not in a rush. On your exhale, release. Inhale to come to hands and knees, open those knees this time, sending your hips back. Wide legs, child, wide-legged child's pose, let your head be heavy. Inhale to tabletop. Squaring those knees with your hips. Walking your hands out a little further, tucking the toes. Exhale, lifting us to tie in the sky. Deep inhale, sigh it out. Sigh out any frustration, any tension, just let it go. Symbolically, with your breath, let it go. One more time like that. And then a birthday candle. Deep inhale. Blow your toes. And inhale to ground through the right foot as we lift our left in the air, toes going down. Exhale, nose to knee, knee to nose. Hang out, we're gonna step that foot in between our hands. 3, 2, 1. Oh, very nice. Here, another option to use your block. We're gonna plant our right hand on the floor. You can have any level block if you like. I'm sorry, plant the right hand on the block or the floor as we open to the left side of the room. Shining out, saying yes to yoga, yes to life. Exhale, sending that left hand down, removing any blocks you may have. And then we're going to get into our warrior position with our legs. Front leg, you're all good. Back leg, you're mostly there. But we're gonna step it forward a little, pivot at the hip, so we can plant the heel down, toes pointing to the side. Good, you might even want to check your alignment now. Is your front leg bisecting the back? Good, and then either using your thigh to support you, or just moving right in. Windmill those arms up and out. Take a breath. We're gonna do a little more alignment check here. Your knee, check if it's pointing in the same direction as your second toe. If it's way past your foot or way beyond your pinky, not exactly like aligned. Let's try to be knee above second toe. Inhale, body gets tall. Exhale, shoulders down and back. Settle into this very powerful, strengthening, kind of mighty position. Gaze over the front fingers. Dropping the right hand towards the back. Left hand reaches past your left ear. Reverse warrior or surrendered warrior. There's a bunch of names. Inhale, warrior 2. Exhale, left hand to thigh, or you can send it down to the floor or to a block. I will demonstrate the blocking. The block pal. Good, and you can almost see with the block versus the floor, just how much length I get, how much brighter the position gets. Heart open, energize out through the fingers. Excellent. Wherever you are, you can bring your forearm back to your thigh. Come on back, warrior 2. Inhale to isometrically pull those leg muscles towards each other. You feel the glutes engage, feel the thighs pulling towards each other. Good job. And then we're gonna inhale to straighten up. Hands come to hips, toes pointing to the front. You're gonna heel toe your feet towards each other, or just step them or jump them. This is an exercise that we did do a version of in our last class. And I think it's a really nice way to practice. It gets a stretch, it gets our balance practice. This time I will give you the option with the band. So if you don't have a band, everybody's going to start with the same prompt. You're going to stabilize on your left leg, slowly lifting your right leg, micro bend in that standing leg. Reach to give your right leg a hug in. Good. This might be where you settle. Everybody, band or no band. You want a little more, you can clasp your hands underneath that foot, open that heart up. This could be your resting point here, or you can begin to stretch your foot out. Ooh. Good. So find what works for you. You can take your foot down, play around for a couple seconds while I lead. Same thing with the band. Try not to have a lot of extra tail here. Excellent. So, same thing, we're going to grip through the left foot. Begin to hug that right foot in. If you'd like a band, this is where you connect it underneath the sole of your foot. Get some resistance in the band. Hold with your arms as you kick out with your foot. And everybody just find what works for you. We'll hold it for a couple moments. When you're ready, bend that knee up. We're going to reverse the flow. Hug it in. And then gently and smoothly as we can, lower that right leg. Being gentle with yourself too. Shake it out. It's very okay and extremely normal to fall out of these poses constantly. Balance is like something, it's like you build it piece by piece. You know, just like some people I think probably do, but typically you don't just wake up and be like, oh, today my balance is great. Now, it does correlate a lot of times with like your stress levels and stuff and your ability to kind of just sink in and focus. So if you do feel that your mind is scattered and that you're also super wiggly, that might just be kind of an embodiment of just the kind of the flutteriness of your mind and spirit today. It's all good. It's all part of being human. All right, we're going to move on to the other side. So we're going to grip through that right leg. Slight micro bend, don't lock it out, in my opinion. No bend, you can know where you're going to go. You're going to hug that left leg in. Just give it a nice little hug around the shin. And if you'd like to clasp your fingers underneath your foot. And if you'd like to extend it, ultimately, maybe you can even drop your nose to your knee. That's definitely a balance challenge. Those of us with a band, it's a little harder with a stretchy band, I should mention. Not impossible. It'll just, there's a lot of give with the stretch band, so just be aware. So if you're using a band, hug it in. And then gently putting the strap underneath, strap, not a band. You can call it either, I guess, but strap underneath the sole of your foot. Give you a grip by the balls of your foot. Stretch it out. Good. Ooh. And whenever you're ready, just try your best to reverse that process. Ooh, shake it out. Well done. Let's just do a quick legs about hip width distance apart, roll down and roll up. So starting with your nose, neck, shoulder, back, the spine, roll down, bend your knees at the bottom, let your head still be heavy, and roll back up, reversing the order. Ending with a nice open heart, open smile, and shake it out. We move into one more balanced stretch. We're moving to our dancer pose. I'm gonna, again, guide first without the band, then with the band. I'm going to, just wanna see, okay. All right, so we're gonna stand with our feet hips width distance apart. First, I'm gonna guide without the strap. That's what I was saying. You're gonna turn your right hand out as if you're gonna receive a high five, and then keeping that palm out. You're not gonna twist it in, keep it out. We're gonna bend the right knee, Send that right foot back behind us. And then reach for that inner edge of that right foot with your hand. Left hand can just be hanging out. Otherwise, it can rise up. My hands can't really see, but my fingers are energized up. And then eventually you're gonna kick, this is the sensation. You're gonna kick into your hand with that right foot, and your hand is gonna resist it. So creating some resistance energy. And if you'd like to continue, let that resistance press your hand into foot, foot into hand, so much so that your leg starts to rise. Your front arm, it's kind of like a compass arrow. Good. Woo. Play around with that. It's okay to fall. Obviously, I'm going to quickly guide you with the band. Very similar strap situation. So, strap in your right hand. You're going to bend your leg. You're going to loop the strap around the top of your foot. So, something like that. Getting enough resistance. You're going to kick back. Kick into the strap. Pulling it in. Good. It takes a little finagling. I don't love when the strap is behind me because I can't really see it. But totally realistic. So kick, open your arms back. All right? Take another moment or two in your dancer pose. Fall out, get right back in. See what was causing the falling out and see if maybe we can make any changes. And sending that right leg back down. Shaking everything out. Dancers on the left, if you're not using the strap, feel free to go right in. I'm going to guide it with the strap on the left. Talking and doing this is hard. So you're going to grip through the right foot. Left leg is going to rise. You're just going to put the top of the strap on the top of your foot. That's it. And then pulling the strap so that there's resistance with your foot, foot resisting strap, strap resisting foot. Just gonna press it away. Good. And with the strap, you may not get as high as you see people without it, because eventually the strap will just slide down your leg. But just to get that feeling of resisting, that foot pressing into the strap, which will eventually become your hand, especially once your quads relax and start getting more flexible, and you're able to reach that foot, you'll understand the resistance and the tension that's going in. So everyone else, palm out, reach for the inside edge of your foot, right arm up or at your hips, hand pushes into foot, foot pushes into hand. Good, and then bend your knees, send it back, shake it out. Good work. Take a minute if you'd like to have a sip of water. I had a water bottle, there it is. Take it now. I know this is a lot of, it's almost like yoga fundamentals, but they're really hard. So, hydrate. So just like a note about straps, is you can get kind of fancy. So I was just kind of leading a really basic foot lift, but eventually you can even like YouTube and Google, there's special ways you can actually tie the strap. So it's kind of looped around your ankle or your foot, and you might be able to lift it a little higher, but I'm not about to like teach like knots. I mean, like knotting over Zoom. That'll be like a specialty class. But there are ways, if you're just basically struggling with the strap, but you think that would be useful, and you're like, just kind of keep sliding off the top of my foot, or I think I could go higher, but I keep sliding. There are a lot of different ways you can use the strap to really like hoist around and then lift. So this is kind of like just like the super basics. But if that is something that is of interest to you, I recommend you check it out further. All right, my friends, let's get ready to wind it down. So let's just take a moment, reach your arms out and up, feet hips width distance apart. Hands come up, exhale, come past your heart. Good. You're gonna take our right foot out, bring it to the side, bring it to the back, and your knees are gonna bend as we come to a seating position. Good work. All right. We're going to a seated position, and here's where we're going to get started with little bit of just gentle static stretches. And those of you in our Thursday class, we've done some of these before. So if you'd like to use a pillow to facilitate some stretching, I will demonstrate with the pillow as well. And just know that for the next couple of minutes, we're just going to be holding, we're going to be breathing, we're going to be doing less talking. It's just going to be you and your experience. So let's start our legs out. We're going to pull the right leg in to make a letter P. So sole of your right foot is against the inner thigh of your left leg. Left foot is flexed, left toes are flexed. Inhale to get tall. And then exhale, you're going to just send your heart forward. Arms can just fall as they wish. Here's where a pillow might come in handy. Just kind of flush it right against that hip socket. And melt over it. You can stack them up. If just sitting up tall, you start feeling that in the hamstring back here, that might be where you start for now. And just recognize where you're at. It doesn't have to, not necessarily where you want to go, but where are you now? Yeah. Let's just hang out here. I know if you have a pillow, your face may not know where to go, but maybe you can gently tilt it to one side. Good. Letting the quality of your breath occupy your attention. What is the quality of it? How fast are you breathing? Does it feel smooth, deep, or shallow, or a little raspy? Just become fascinated with the quality of your breathing for just a couple moments. Excellent. Just begin to release your hands, gripping into the floor with your fingertips or your palms. Just roll your spine like you're unwinding like a snail shell, which is not really possible. And so we're going to just switch sides. So extending the right leg, bending the left, flexing through. Pillow if you'd like it. Inhale to get tall. And then exhale, almost not just to fall down, but to go up and beyond the pillow or your knee or wherever. Just that kind of lift and reach beyond rather than just sinking, collapsing down. Nice. You're breathing, just become deeper, a little more settled in your body as we move into these more restorative type postures. And then using your hands again, you're just going to roll up, starting with your belly button, hook, strap, thoracic spine, shoulders down and back. I've noticed today when I sleep, I tighten my shoulders. My dentist thinks I get like headaches because of like grinding my teeth. I probably do that too. But I realize I literally sleep like an ogre, and I'm just like, like fighting. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm bracing for something always, even when I have like nice dreams. And I think that's why these sort of self-massage, restorative, constantly reminding to put the shoulders down. I think that's why I pay particular attention. I'm just like, it is too easy to be tense. All right, now we got the whammy, the double feet. So we have a couple moments in this pose. So play around if you want your feet to be a little wider, not like in a full big split straddle, but just if you prefer them wider, you like them close, find a spot. Pillow can be flush again against those hip points. Inhale to get tall. Heart shines up, gaze lifts. And again, trying to get that up and over. And again, this might be just where you're at, like just trying to sit with your knees straight and your back at a right angle. That was a challenge for many years. And again, as like a ballerina, that was like something I was like so ashamed of. Like I can't even like really like touch my toes. Other things I was flexible at, other, you know, it's just everybody is different. And like really anything is like possible, you know, when we can just acknowledge where we are and be patient with ourselves. I think we can achieve a lot more than we sometimes think we can, even if it doesn't look like the next person's or whatever. So inhale to get tall. Optional exhale to bow forward. You can, if you're like, I'm bendy today, use those peace fingers, hey, and your thumb, and like little crab pinchers, reach for the big toe, as a kind of a leverage. Otherwise, just restore in this, like luxuriate in wherever's comfortable. That might just be like your chin drops a little. It's okay. But we are gonna hang. So just find the position that you can sustain, not for moments, but for miles, you know. Of course, the music in my ear now is like very like inspirational beat. I'm like, yeah, like we can do it. So good. But of course, if you're just like watching this video, you have no idea what's going on. But like, have your inner DJ, right? Just I'm removing the pillow as a challenge to myself because I felt my legs really releasing with the pillow. And I want to see if that sense of release is going to continue without it. Not so much as it turns out, but it's not as tight as it was. I was very tight this morning. Good. I'm going to hold it for maybe 10 more seconds. And if you need a break before the 10 seconds, just take it, you know. Just yoga. And just as we did before, we take a deep inhale. Then exhale, lean with that belly button. We're going to roll up. You might be a little dizzy or lightheaded just from being upside down. Take a breath. All right, my friends, so we're gonna move into our half pigeon, and we're gonna move from there into a quad stretch. Every part of this can be pretty intense, so I recommend like load up on all the things that make you feel comfortable. My knees are just like constantly, even if I'm on a thick yoga mat on a carpet, my knees are always like in pain when I'm like on them. So I'm gonna use I have a blanket handy for my knees. You can have a pillow. You can have a pillow for underneath your seat, underneath your pelvis, so your body doesn't be kind of flush against the ground. There's so many different things you can have. You can have a pillow for underneath your head. So I'm talking 2 pillows and a blanket. You can have like, you can just like set up a full tent here and just like have like a cozy environment. But to start, I'm gonna face sideways. I'm gonna have my blanket handy. I'm gonna have my pillow handy. I'm gonna start with my left leg front, right leg back. So to do so, you're just sitting in a position. Usually we're sitting in some kind of position. And you're going to let your left leg just drop along the side, on its side, while your right leg just kind of, you swing it to the back. Nothing too much going on here. I'm still leaning on my left hip. Emphasis on the outside edge of that left leg being on the ground. So you're not like on your foot, you're not on the front edge of it. It's the side, ankle, yeah. And it can be pretty close to you. Some people love to have this like parallel leg, but if your bones, like your pelvis bones, are not suited for that, you're gonna be in extreme discomfort, and that's not what we want. So let that heel be a little close to you, flex that foot. Front leg, all good. Now you're gonna use your hands on either side of your front leg to get like strong. You're gonna kind of lift your pelvis up and then walk that back leg behind you. I just place my knee on it, on the pillow, on the blanket. That's right. So now you're still using your hands. There's some space underneath my pelvis. You can slide a pillow there. Now it's so much better, or at least maybe not as rough as it might have been. Good. And then just in your own kind of alignment, just make any little adjustments. So you can tuck the back toe if you like. Get out of here. You can flatten the foot down. And you kind of want your shoulders to be square to the front. So if you find you're leaning on that left hip, your right hip's just kind of hanging out in the air, try to balance. You're right in the middle. Yes. This might be where you're at. That pillow's a little bulky. I'm going to use it, now that it's been under my butt, I'm going to use it for my face. I might have to scratch up for the record, but you're going to inhale to get your body tall. And then exhale. Send your torso down. Maybe your forearms come to the ground. Maybe your forehead rests on a pillow. Maybe you don't use a pillow. We're gonna hang, we're gonna hang, we're gonna hang. You don't have to go forward either. I'm saying like what I say, and I feel like I say a lot, is there's gradients that you can explore and play with or wish to achieve one day, but you're not doing any less yoga by not doing exactly what the person next to you or in front of you is doing. There are certainly further variations of this pose that can take you even further. You know, it's sort of like this endless, it's this endless space where you can always just continue to transform and transform each shape from up here to down here to down here to on your head to on your hands to like 1 foot in the air. Like there's endless variations. So find what's working for you now. Good, and notice if that left hip socket is really holding tension, and if you can willfully bring a sense of release to it. Just mentally, just release. Release. See if you can let go of a little bit of that tension. I'm gonna try one more just mentally active release. Inhale deeply, and then exhale using your hands to walk your body back up. We're gonna tuck the back toe. Just hang out here for a little bit. And we're gonna bring both hands in front of that front shin, instead of on either side. You're gonna begin to bend that back leg. This might already, for me at least, I'm like, yeah, okay, yep. Otherwise you can take your right arm up and reach for the inside edge of that back foot, or you can reach over the tops of the toes and begin to pull that heel towards your booty. The higher up you go, the less intense the quad sensation is, and the lower your pelvis is to the ground, perhaps the more intense you might feel it. Good, and just hold for a couple moments. And carefully, with love, release that foot. Send those hips off to the left side. You can use your hand to kind of hoist that right foot in front and give it a little shake. I feel like I'm on a diagonal, I don't know why. That's how I feel today. This mat is all sorts of finicky. So now just kind of reverse your props. You don't have to reverse, I'm reversing so I face that way, but as long as you reverse your leg, you should be fine. So now we're gonna have our, just checking the time here. Now we're gonna have our left leg in front and our right leg back. I don't know why I reverse this stuff. Yeah, you can keep everything there. Then I would just, anyway, so your left leg is front. Sorry, I just got like really backwards. So your right leg is in front, your left leg is behind. I'm not sure if that's what I'm saying or if that's just what I'm thinking. I sometimes do mix up my rights and lefts like so easily, like you would think I like learned that right was left and left was right, like since like childhood. So that's why I'm like, did I actually say that correctly? It's the same thing. You're just kind of sitting. Your right leg now, the side edge is on the ground, flexing that foot. You're just gonna swing your left leg behind. Just get it out of the way. But now you're gonna use your hands to prop up, lift those hips, giving your back leg space to crawl behind. And then you can send those hips low to the ground. You can stuff a pillow right under there. I'm just gonna bring up my towel. There we go. Good. And letting the front shin be as diagonal as it needs to be. It doesn't need to be parallel with the front edge of the mat. Just like hate that, like where it has to be anything. All right, so our hips are square, our shoulders are square. We're not leaning onto the right side. If we are, maybe we bring a pillow or a block underneath for a smidge of support. Block is less comfortable than pillow, but practical if you have it. And then find where your pigeon wants to go today. Keep breathing into your belly. Visualize that breath entering and kind of energizing in that belly space, and then releasing from there. Good. And maybe we can bring that same mental release to the right hip area now. So we inhale, strength, confidence, alertness. And we exhale, we literally send our mind's eye to that tense right hip. And we ask, can you release a little bit? Is there a little more space we can create? Can we relax it by just an infinitesimal amount? Infinitesimal? You know what I'm trying to say? Infinitesimal? Just like even the smallest amount of release. Maybe we can bring larger amounts of release. Play around here. See if we can get this area to open up into this pose. If you feel that you are rigid or stuck, bring the breath in. Imagine a little flow, releasing, bringing a little fluidity into your position. Excellent. And then you can lift your head off the ground or the block, using your hands to carefully support the lifting of your top body. Your hips are still square. You tuck that back toe for some stability. Bring both hands to the front of that right shin. I know my back too. It's probably why I wanted to turn around, so I wouldn't be facing the wall. Feeling stable, you can lift those hips higher if you like. We're going to lift the back foot using our left hand. Reach towards the inside edge and begin to pull very carefully towards you. And your body will very much let you know what is too much. And find your edge here. And then see if you can bring some release in. Good. Deep breath. Almost done. And then carefully, with love, release that back foot down. Send your hips over to the right, kind of releasing the posture. And then using your hands, you can help guide that left leg to the front. Shake it out. Ugh. Well done. Now we're going to go into one of my favorite supine twists. Just kind of stretch that all out. So we're nearing the end of our practice. So load up on any sort of like comfort stuff. We're not going to have a stale Shavasana. We're going to actually release and kind of snuggle up in our Shavasana today. So pillows, I'm going to turn on the other side, and blankets, anything you like, just have them near you. All right, so we're going to come to the middle of our mats. Knees bent, soles of your feet on the ground, fingertips just behind you, pressing into the earth to open your heart towards the ceiling. You just have this kind of like victorious pose here. Just breathe here. Alert, awake, almost in this like receptive, like a UFO is coming and like shining this like healing light on you. I don't know, whatever you want to imagine here. Maybe something less UFO-y, but maybe not. Maybe that's cool. And then exhale, we're gonna round at the lower spine. Begin to round the whole spine onto the earth. Just this on the pillow up. Just stretch out your legs for a moment. Reach your arms up overhead and just feel the length of your whole person. You know, feel how far you stretch and how far you go. And then we energize out through the toes, out through the fingers to send that energy beyond us. Good, and then you're gonna hug it all in. Even your nose, we're just gonna take that open energy and compress it all into this little egg. Cute little yoga egg. Good. Hug as much as you can. You know, you may not be able to get full arms around wherever you are. Just compress, compress, compress. Deep inhale, and then just release your back towards the floor, head on the floor, feet, soles of the feet on the floor. Then you're gonna open your arms wide. They can be cactuses, or you can rest them behind your head. And we're gonna gently drop the knees to the right side. Yep, that's it, that's the twist that I love a lot. And we're gonna press the left shoulder into the earth. And if you'd like a little more sensation, you can take the bottom foot and just rest your ankle on the top side. So kind of like a little weight on it to kind of emphasize the stretch along the outside edge of that top leg. It's an option. And let's bring it gentle close to our eyes. And just let's just have a moment. And release the top foot back to the bottom and send those knees up. Can we relax our shoulders down a little more? And then we're going to send those knees to the left side. Right shoulder blade pressing into the earth. Maybe you want to look towards the right. Get this letter S shape. Option to take the bottom leg, connect the ankle to the thigh, and just let it kind of pull the top leg down a little more. Excellent, and then bringing the knees back up, unhooking the top leg. We're going to move into one bridge, just one. Let's make it as supportive as we can. Walking those heels close enough to your booty that you can actually kind of touch the backs of your heels. You don't have to touch, but not as close. I'm going to inhale the belly button towards the floor. And then exhale, lift, squeezing the glutes together and bring your hands underneath the kind of fat part of your thumb. You can just rest onto your hands. You're still using your hamstrings, your glutes to keep you up. Your hands are there as a support to say, hey, we got you. You worked hard enough. Good. Take one more breath here. Exhale, release your hands. Try to release one vertebra at a time, sinking back in. We're going to extend one leg out and the other. Maybe bring in a pillow. Maybe bring in a blanket. I like the blanket actually underneath my legs to give them a little lift. Open your arms, palms up, palms down. Gently, when you're ready, eyes can close. You can remove any music from your ears if you like, or lower the volume. What you'd like to do. You're just giving yourself permission to be okay with exactly the way things are. Not necessarily approving of everything or you're not saying it's all fine, I don't want any changes to happen, but you are accepting it for the now. Giving yourself that permission to not do anything. And in doing nothing, you're healing yourself from the inside. You're reducing your reactivity, and you're taking stock, and you're processing. You're doing nothing, and yet you are doing so much. Just let it happen, and let whatever washes over you, an emotion or a strong memory, say welcome. You're here with me too. Relax the muscles in your face, your jaw, neck. Let it all be heavy, gooey, and fluid and changing. Let's just have a moment with our inward selves. Take a deep breath together, in through your nose, out through parted lips. And nice and deep, just wakening up that breath. Waking up your fingers, and waking your fingers and toes, bringing little movements or making little fists, wiggles. Slowly stretch those arms up overhead in a good morning stretch. Just woke up from a deep and very wonderful dream. The dream is already receding into your unconscious, but it's there. You carefully roll over onto your favorite side, tucking in those knees, using your arms as a pillow, eyes closed. Just take stock. Using your arms, press yourself slowly up to a seated position. Shoulders back, chest lifts, but chin slightly lowered towards the floor or towards your neck. In this position, you carefully blink open your eyes and gaze at the floor. Breathe deeply. Breathe into the new spaces that you've created just by moving together, by stretching. And chin can lift. Woo. Now I see what you see, my hair. And let's just reach your arms out. Cross right arm over left into a gentle hug. Chin can lower again. Just settle those shoulders down. Chin lifts, arms open. Just cross the left arm over this time. You can kind of settle down with gravity, pulling you towards your mat. And lift up, arms out. Hands come to prayer position, come to third eye. Then exhale to bow. You can bow all the way to the floor if you want. You can just slightly bow in acknowledgement of yourself in this practice and just showing up, That's what they say, just showing up. But that is always one of the hardest parts. So thank you so much for showing up for me and for each other and for ultimately yourself and all the good healing that you do. And even if it doesn't feel like, hey, I'm healing, I'm putting Neosporin on my deep wounds, you are moving with yourself. You're moving solitarily, you're moving by yourself, but yet with others. And you move through uncomfortable feelings, and you move through pain and tension, and you come out on the other side. So when I say this healing word, I don't mean it as just a buzzword, but I mean just like the inner experience of sticking with yourself and sticking with a practice. So for that, I offer namaste. I thank you for your attention, for your energy, for if you took a nap the whole time, thank you for that. And I will hopefully see you all very, very soon.
Take care, everyone.